In one of the previous file manager videos, we've already seen how we can utilize lifecycle events in order to perform an action on a specific event. More specifically, every time a file was about to be created, we've ensured that an alias was assigned to the file. In this video, what we'll do is, we'll again utilize the lifecycle events and try to perform an action, this time before a product content entry is about to be published. More specifically, let's imagine a scenario where we only want to allow publishing of products between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. So let's see how we can achieve that. Below the product model code we added in the previous video, let's also add the following context plugin. So let's see what we got here. For starters, note that we've imported the Create Context plugin factory from the Webany API Serverless CMS package, which is actually not listed as a dependency of our extension. At the time of creating the extension in the previous video, the only dependency we specified was the Webany/API Headless CMS. So let's add it. To do that, we can simply run the following command in our terminal. So it's yarn workspace models add Webany/API Serverless CMS. Alright, yarn has finished adding the dependency, and sure enough, if we were to open our extensions package.json file, we'd see it in the list of all dependencies. Great. Now that the dependency has been added, we can continue examining the code we have. So via this context plugin and via the context.cms object, we are calling the onEntryBeforePublish.subscribe method, which lets us hook onto the onEntryBeforePublish event and perform any action we need. In our case, we want to check if a product is being published between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. And to do that, we first want to make sure the model on which the published entry is based is actually product. That's why we have this first if statement here, where we say if the model ID is different from product, then we can immediately exit. Otherwise, we proceed with checking the current time of the day, and if it's not between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m., then we throw an error saying you can only publish products between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Alright, with our code saved and deployed, we can do a quick test. I'm going to open the entry that we created in the previous video, and I will try to publish it. Since we're currently in the allowed time interval, the publishing will succeed. Let's now simulate the other scenario, where we are trying to publish a product that's not inside the allowed time interval. To do this, we'll simply adjust this condition here, and make it the opposite of how it looked like before. In other words, with this change, the publishing will only be allowed outside of the 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. time interval. So let's again save our change and wait for the deployment to finish. Alright, let's now do another test in our browser. We'll simply try to publish our entry again, but this time we should see an error message and the entry should not be published. And sure enough, as we can see, the error message is here, and a new revision of our content entry has not been published, which means everything works as expected. To wrap things up, we just want to undo the last change we did here and redeploy our code so that our extension behaves as initially intended.